There's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. Like, at this point, I'm like, yo, this is embarrassing.
You think this is Drake's retirement? Like,
I don't know if it's his retirement. He's probably gonna lay low for a bit, but I mean, he's not saying anything with me. I'm like, damn, this is really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, you really got everybody calling you the P word.
This the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, rock, top, top.
Welcome back to the Petty Headquarters. I'm your host, Tiana Locke, and this is
Jessie Strange. And today
we have a special episode.
Yeah, so we talking about a couple things. This is more of, of a relaxed episode. We're going to be talking about something that I feel like got kind of pushed under the rug. So let me give you the gist for you. Those of y'all who are new. Hello, welcome. This is the Petty Headquarters.
Yes.
We talk about pop culture, baddies, reality TV.
Network.
Yes, so we talk about all of that. And today we're going to be covering a few topics. So the first topic we're going to be talking about was this mass shooting that was going to go down on a Bad Bunny concert. So I thought that's interesting. That shit was crazy.
Right.
I have a lot to unpack when it comes to reading that article. The second one we're going to talk about after is Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us monumental Juneteenth concert,
Right.
which we'll get into. That has been a talk amongst the hip hop community. Kendrick is the best. Anyways, and then we're going to touch a little bit on Remy Ma's son getting arrested. Hired for murder? I think that's how you say it. Hired for murder. Basically, he was hired to murder, and he ended up murdering this kingpin who ended up being, what's his name, Petty?
Kenneth Petty.
Who ended up being Kenneth Petty's cousin? D-Block. So
Kenneth Petty is Nicki Minaj's husband, for those that don't know.
Yeah. So it's gonna get a little interesting. We're gonna take it on and we're gonna unpack it. So first, I wanted to talk about the Bad Bunny concert. I feel like this story was pushed out and just swept under the rug. And it's unfortunate because, around this time that this was talked about, on TikTok and on Instagram also went viral that white girl who said the N-word and then ended up getting a position at, as a conservative activist or whatever on social media, influencer.
Right.
And it was annoying, right? Because for those of you who don't know, let me bring it back because I'm getting excited here. An Arizona man was indicted by a federal grand jury this week on several firearm charges, having been accused by the U.S. Justice Department of planning a mass shooting targeting Black people and other minorities at a May Atlanta concert in hopes of inciting a race war before the upcoming presidential election. Now, this was posted on Hollywood Unlocked, on Latino World Star, all these places, and as quickly as it came is as quickly as it left. Instead, we had this white girl who that story was pushed on so much more when it's like, not for nothing, we are as a community, as a country, we dog the police. But when we get into this story, you realize like we dog the police and we're quick to make a story about it and trash them. But when they do something good, it just gets swept under the rug. This man, 58-year-old man from Arizona.
What's his name?
His name is Mark Prieto. Mark Prieto. He had 7 guns when he was arrested on May 14th while driving east from Arizona to New Mexico. Okay. He faces charges of firearm trafficking, transfer of a firearm for use in a hate crime, and possession of an unregistered firearm. So the story goes like this. This man, Mark Prieto from Arizona, he was going to these gun events, like these gun, what are they
Expos?
called? Thank you. They're called expos. And for the last couple years, he was talking about inciting a race war. And somebody in that community who goes to those expos took notice of it and reported it to the FBI because he was concerned. He was just very detailed about his plan to do all this. So he got the FBI, and shout out to that guy. He got the FBI involved. And the FBI went undercover and got Mark to sell the FBI firearms, one for $2,000, one for $1,000. Basically, you know, they were working a case up for him. Long story short, he was arrested on May 14th, which, mind you, the concert was on May 14th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was on his way to kill, hundreds of people.
Right.
And thank God, and shout out to the FBI, right? Because they did their big one. They stopped the guy. He was arrested. But this guy had a whole plan to start a race war. He had the Confederate flags. He had plans on areas where he wanted to hide the firearms. All right, so that, you know, when he runs out of ammo with one, he can go to the other. I'm gonna read you something, because he told one of the guys, one of the undercover cop, he told them, hey, bring as much ammo as you possibly can.
Right.
You know? And it goes to show you the ignorance, right? Because he wanted to start this race war and kill Black people. And even when he was talking about going to Atlanta, he wanted to go to a rap concert. It goes to show you the ignorance, because obviously Bad Bunny is, you know, Latino rap, right? Reggaeton. But it's like, bro, it just shows the ignorance. Like, you know, you were going to just kill a bunch of fucking Latinos, and obviously there's Black people there too, but whatever. I'm going to read you more of the article. Prieto said he was focused on Georgia because of what he perceived as its shifting politics. He attributed this to its Black population, which he referred to using the N-word. The complaint says, over the next few months, Prieto allegedly provided more and more details about his attack. So this guy was from Georgia, and he said, you know, it used to be
the South.
Yeah, it used to be this state, this conservative state. Now it's, you know, taken over by Black people and yada, yada, yada. You know, this fucking ignorant, conservative white man.
Right.
But anyways, I wanted to talk about it because it's crazy to me, right? How, like, this is the problem. And I'm not here to get into politics, and I'm not here to get into
but that's where it gets to, right? When you're talking about things like that, it does get into politics because it is political.
Right. And it's unfortunate because people be really riding for politics as if, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, like they do something for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't fucking know. It's weird. But anyways, I thought it was annoying because why is it that this fucking concert and this story didn't get as covered as much? You know what I'm saying? But y'all quick to call out the white person calling the N-word, but y'all not quick to call out this white guy who really just tried to start a race war. Like, these people are fucking still exist, and it's crazy because it's like...
And both are equally just as bad. Honestly,
yes.
He's probably worse because he's literally going out to kill people.
Right, but it's like, y'all want to, like, let's dissect this for a second. He's gonna go out to kill people, but also it's true because there were a lot of people in the comments with the girl saying the N-word, like, why are y'all giving her a platform?
Right, and that's what I said too. Like, why are you even posting this? Because now that you're posting it, look, she went viral, and now she's on a conservative platform. I don't remember the name, but she's on as a host has her own little show on the conservative platform. And I mean, I guess kudos to you, but really?
Yeah, no.
Really?
It's just weird and it's unfortunate. But anyways, I wanted to bring it up because at the end of the day, I feel like it was swept on the rug, but also it's important to like talk about these things because at the end of the day, right, not only is the gun thing in America huge, this is such an America problem as far as the, you know, the mass shootings and stuff like that, you know, in a first world country, not a third world country, you know, but it also like goes to show you that, like, yo,
I just feel like with this situation, it's really scary how deep conditioning is. It really is scary how far, and these are the people that are running the show, the elites from back in the days that started all of this, that started the concept of race, that started the, you know, race war for separation, for a diversion, even the brown paper bag, like, you know, how colorism was even developed by white people to see if you're the skin tone of the brown paper bag, then you could work in the house. If you're darker than that, then you have to work in the field. So it's just interesting that this was really all started by one, I guess, smart individual that wrote a book about this. And look, it's still a thing.
Yeah.
it's still a thing, but it also shows how weak-minded a lot of human beings are, and how, you know, a lot of human beings, you know, they possess a sheep mentality because he really believes it truth. Like, this is his heart. Yup, Confederate flag. Let's get back to the good old days. But bro, you were conditioned. And not for nothing, you were probably poor. And that's what we see with a lot of these poor white Americans. They get conditioned, which is exactly what the politicians do. This is exactly what Donald Trump did to get your vote.
Still doing it.
Still doing it. This is exactly what they are doing to get your vote. It's all just media. It's all, you know, basically
psychological warfare.
Right, exactly. But it's also playing on your emotions.
100%.
Playing on, you know, your beliefs. And this is just what happens. And I feel like when you're a sheep, you're like, yeah, oh my God, this guy. Same thing with Hitler. Like, you know what I'm saying? But really, you're a fool, and you're a sheep, and they're playing with you, and they know what they're doing half of the time. And I'm not going to speak for everybody, but there are a lot of fake conservatives out there that don't really know anything. They don't really care. They just say things to incite emotional responses. And I feel like that's what this guy, he was probably listening to some shit, grew up on some shit. Whatever, make America great again, right? Yeah. And I just think this is what's happening. You're a sheep and you're an idiot.
Yeah, and this isn't to say that, like, again, I'm not trying to talk about politics much, but this isn't to say that the Democrats are any better. Right? Because at the end,
it's the same thing.
Right.
Just different audience.
More liberal. Right.
You're still playing on emotions.
Right.
And manipulating people psychologically.
For sure.
Based on their beliefs and their likes and their wants. So,
it's funny because I wish people were more, you know, independent thinkers, right? Because if you read books like The Psychology of Money, just any self-help book really that talks about, like, in perspective of psychology, you realize that a lot of things, especially media, is it's triggered by emotion. Yeah. Money, when you buy things, when you know, spontaneously need to buy things, when you use shopping as shopping therapy, all that is driven by emotion. When you do something, you're like, fuck it, I'm going through something, so I'm going to book a flight.
This, or I'm going to treat myself.
Right. So everything is driven by emotion, and it's so crazy to me because, like, he really not only thought that, but he also represents, and this isn't to say this is a specific group of fucking people. Like, we're not talking about white people. We're talking about
group of extremists.
Right. Exactly. Very much so. And it's sad. Not only, obviously, we know it exists, right? But it's sad that there were going to be people who were going to be innocent and be victims to this man who really thought he was making a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what happens, though, when people eat up a lot of this conservative media that honestly plays on your emotions. It plays on your emotions because what is your purpose? What do you really believe in? Do you know?
And what's worse is that if that would have happened and they would have said, oh, look, he had this manifesto, the KKK, Confederate flags, people will literally sit there and it would have been a big story, right? But it also, people would genuinely believe that it's bigger than what it is. Right. Like, wow, there's so many white people that still feel this way. No, I don't, honestly, though, like that. Right. Like that, to talk about go back to, like, that's like go back to the slave days. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people think like that no more. That's not to say
they do. They're just hidden.
That's not to say that they don't exist. I'm saying the amount of people. This is just like saying, oh, you know, like the red pill guys, right? Like the guys who are always like, oh yeah, fuck women. We're men. We gotta
get back to our roots.
It's not that many guys that think like that. It's actually not. Like, it just comes up because that's what goes viral. People think that virality means that's reality, when at the end of the day, it exists. That's not to say it doesn't exist, but the population's a lot smaller than we are believed to what virality makes it believe. Right. You know what I'm trying to say. So I'm just saying, like, if that would have happened, it's unfortunate because it would have started something between, you know, it would have caused outrage. It would have caused a division. And this is what I'm talking about, right? However you may feel, it causes a division. And what have we learned from history? We are more stronger when we are united than not, right? And that's just speaking in dream form, because obviously America, where, you know, we all have our opinions and stuff like that. But all I'm just saying is this. It didn't become a big story because nothing tragic happened.
Right.
Thankfully. Right? But it's like, why do y'all give light to these stupid fucking people who don't do anything for you, but the FBI did their big one and no one praised them?
Yeah.
But y'all quick to call them out when things go wrong. Where was the cops? Where was this? Where was that? You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like that's really like just human nature in general. I feel like that's just a lot of people. They complain when it's not done and when it's done. It's like you can't please everybody. Someone's always gonna have a complaint about something.
That's very true. So shout out to the FBI for doing their big one and saving people.
Right. Because, shout out to them.
Yeah, they saved from a lot of issues, because that would have caused a lot of fucking drama.
Was caught early, because if it wasn't, it would have started a race war, which is exactly what this guy wanted. And it makes me wonder, like, I don't know, are you an idiot or are you smart? Because you knew what you were setting out to do.
No, he's an
idiot.
He's no, you know what they call those? Martyrs. Because he's a sheep who believes he's something more. But all he is being controlled by the people who use him as the sacrifice to start something that they not gonna do.
Exactly.
Period.
Right. But this is how it starts. And this is why I say it goes back to that political shit. Because with the media and politics are like combined.
100%. And honestly, y'all, like, election year is here. From the petty headquarters, please. Be an independent thinker. That's all I could ask from y'all. Whatever fucking party y'all want to be on, it don't matter.
Right.
As long as you have an independent thought process.
Right.
And you're able to really, like, you know,
dissect
what I'm saying?
all the facts.
Right.
And not go based on your peers and who they're voting for. Like, know the facts, know everything that you're talking about. And not just go based on, oh, yeah, my family supports this guy, so I'm going to support him too.
Right.
My friend supports this guy, so I'm going to support him too. It doesn't work like that. You have to really be in this shit to know who you're voting for.
And not for nothing, y'all. If you're really thinking independently, y'all know that this fucking Democratic and conservative parties, they not really for us. Don't matter where you go. Like, that's the truth.
It's true.
Because there's no way in life you're either one or all. You're not either. I feel like these parties are very extreme. They represent, like, that guy. You know, you're very extreme. We as humans gotta meet in between, where it's 2024, where it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not as black and white as it used to be when the fucking TVs were black and white.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? We gotta fucking think progressively. So if there's any people out there who trying to be the president and watching, you know what I'm saying? Fucking go for it, bro, because we need people.
Who is watching this channel trying to be the president?
Imagine.
Girl?
If Donald Trump can fucking come from being that guy to being a president at this point, anybody could be the fucking president.
Who is watching this that's gonna want to be the president? We are not in politics. That is not our genre, bitch.
Well, whatever. They can tell a friend. I don't know. Anyways, but speaking of concerts, right? That leads us perfectly into the Kendrick Lamar Juneteenth pop-out concert.
Right.
So I know right now he currently just filmed the music video for it, which I'm really excited.
Not like us. They not like us.
So y'all know the Kendrick and Drake beef. Y'all know our perspective on Drake, because we definitely covered Drake before.
We've been clocked it before everybody else decided to hop on the wave.
You know what? Who clocked it first?
Who?
Joe Budden.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about that too the other day, how when he came out, Drake had so much to say. Drake had so much to say about tax bracket, about all, of course, flexing the money, flexing the materialism, but he is quiet now.
Quiet. And guess what?
Quiet.
Guess what? Joe Budden did not lie.
Yeah, he didn't.
He did not lie. You know what? He just didn't have the power.
No.
And the lyric, the power, I would just say just power in general, the momentum.
But also, I feel like he didn't even have the energy to do all of that extra shit.
That's true.
You know, he's older, and it's just like, I don't. But then
he's
again,
grown.
Right? But at the end of the day, I could understand why some people did criticize Joe Budden, because sometimes he does come off as an older guy that's just hating on the newer generation. Like, it's not always gonna be like how it was back in your day. However, when he talked about Drake, he did have a point.
Yo, he did not lie.
He didn't.
He did not lie. Everything he said was pretty valid.
Right.
And I saw a lot of people talking about, you know, you don't really know Drake. You know what's funny? It's great. It's great because you know what? Well, you're right. We don't know Drake. We only know him for the artist. But like I said, like we've said before, right? Like your art shows who you are. What you choose to do as the artist shows who you are. Even if you're putting on a show and you're fake, you're a fake character,
right?
Shows who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like it just shows that you're able to
Energy
lie.
doesn't lie, though. You know,
for sure. And so, anyways, y'all know the beef between Kendrick and Drake, and then he made that song, and Not Like Us is fucking ruthless, bro. He did Euphoria, and then they went back and forth, whatever.
Right.
All that to say, Kendrick came and danced all over Drake's funeral.
No, for real.
He went to Inglewood on Juneteenth, did a show where he promoted a lot of West Coast rappers. He had them perform, had them do their own thing. And then at the end, he came out and sang all his bangers. And man, let me tell you something. I haven't seen a crowd like that in a very, very long time. You see crowds like that in like a Prince concert, in like a Michael Jackson concert. You remember that Michael Jackson concert in the football stadium when everyone was going fucking crazy? That's what that was. That's what that was. You don't see that often.
No.
That you see when there's someone
iconic
on stage.
Yep.
And it was almost like an energy, bro.
Huge. It was just an icon, just living in his own lane.
Yes.
The man is in his own lane. At this point, this is not even a competition.
No, not at all.
This was an annihilation. This was not even a fair fight. This was just, I'm hitting on you and you can't get up.
And it goes to show like the depths of Kendrick, right? Like if you look at any of his music, it's just so insightful, right? He has this, and he's
way. Always been like that.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. You may not know the artist themselves personally, but even through your art, you're able to see the way they are as people. Because even J. Cole got into that beef and he immediately retracted.
Yeah. And everybody was calling him pussy and a coward, all this
but
stuff.
But that's who he is. Exactly. Not a coward. He's a man.
But they were saying that about him.
Right. No, for sure.
They were talking about how hip hop is dead. Like, what is this? Who apologizes, in the middle of a rap beef?
Yes, very true. Hip hop not the same no more, blah, blah, blah. But that's J. Cole, right? He's not about that beef life. He's not about that. He stepped out, smart man.
Has genuine love for Kendrick.
Right. And so speaking of like hip hop being dead, people saying that concert revived hip hop in general, because obviously we talked about it before in the Beyonce episode, how hip hop is declining in every aspect. Like people are struggling in the economy. So flashing your fucking jewelry and all this stuff is like, it's just not a thing. Country's up. And then like you haven't seen the West Coast that united in a really long time.
Yeah, rival gangs was up on stage with him, for crying out loud. Like,
yo, for real. And it's funny because
people that fuck with Drake was there singing a song too. Like I was like, this is crazy.
YG was in Drake's diss track to Kendrick. YG was dancing Not Like Us.
He performed that shit like 5 times.
5 times he did, yes.
They kept singing every single time.
Just imagine the whole crowd, hearing a whole crowd call you a certified pedophile.
Yo.
You try to strike a chord, it's probably 8 minor.
You know Drake is tight. There is nobody on this planet that could tell me that this man does not care.
He's the most sensitive guy.
He
so
cares.
Like, of course.
And obviously, I don't even know if this is going to die down. I think this is going down in history.
Oh, yeah.
It's like one of the greatest rap beefs ever. Usually we just hear about it in songs and it's cool. They go back and forth. But this man made a whole concert off of dissing you.
Well,
that's crazy.
You know what, though? It wasn't about dissing Drake. It ended up... It's unfortunate that Drake was the pawn in his game. But this is what I wanted to say. This is so impactful because this shows the intricacy of Kendrick's mentality, right? Because the entire time when Kendrick was calling Drake out, he basically called him a colonizer, called him a culture vulture.
Yeah.
He was saying...
Called him pedophile, called him a lot.
But listen, he was mainly attacking his identity issues, which we've discussed before. Drake has identity issues. He doesn't even know he's 40. Like, it feels like it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, one thing Kendrick did was make that show. Because not only did he purposely choose Juneteenth to do something, which we'll talk about the holiday in a minute, because I want to dissect that. he chose to do it on Juneteenth. He chose to wear the outfit from the 1994 performance of Tupac, who, mind you, by the way, Drake bought Tupac's ring for $1 million as an anonymous buyer, which ended up, he showed it off on the Family Matters music video.
Wow.
Okay, so not only did he basically like use Tupac, but then it almost felt like a Tupac energy because Tupac did the same thing. He brought all his boys. I forgot. It was in I forgot what performance it was, but y'all can look it up because it's out there. He brought all the boys and he united a bunch of people from the West Coast, just like Kendrick did. Yep. And it was almost like, and then Drake used the AI of Tupac in his diss track and disrespected him. Right. And then he just basically made it fucking come all the way around.
Back full circle.
And it's like, when Juneteenth is a new holiday. It's a fairly new holiday, meaning in the last 5 years it became...
When they made it a federal holiday.
When it made it a federal holiday. Or a federal, I don't know if it's federal.
It's a federal holiday.
When they made it a federal holiday. And this is what I was expressing to Tiana. I feel like in especially I guess in my industry, with the way, and I'm gonna speak solely from experience.
And it's not even just your industry.
Okay.
It's I feel like it's
everywhere. I don't know because I'm speaking off of experience,
probably
but it's true.
It's an America thing.
Maybe. But whenever you speak about the holiday, they're almost like, it feels like they're like saying, yeah, you could take the day off if you really want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't take it seriously like they do for the 4th of July.
Or sometimes if it's a private practice or a private company,
they don't even give it to you.
They don't even give you the holiday off. So.
Right. So then, like, and even sometimes, like, I don't know, you'll hear slight comments like, you know, it's not even a real holiday. You know, I've heard that personally. So, and I feel like, right, there's never been anything significant enough to even say, like, oh, like, Juneteenth, something special happened. Right. And then Kendrick comes, takes this Black holiday, right, like, that celebrates Black culture, and he fucking unites everybody in this one stage. And it just feels like, yo, such a monumental moment on the day we celebrate our peoples being freed, you know what I'm saying? And then you got all these people from fucking different gangs coming up. It's just a moment of united, because he took rap beef, which usually from hip hop, you know, ends in violence, and he did the opposite. He united people.
Right.
And unfortunately, Drake was a pawn.
Which it just goes to show that, like, it was like a rap beef, but it's bigger than Drake at this point.
100%.
Like, it became so much bigger than Drake, like you said, monumental. And even that red sweater, yo, I'm sorry. That you see me show up in that, you already know what time I'm on. Like, you already know. Honestly, it was just amazing. It was like, again, just an icon in his own lane. And I've always felt this way about Kendrick. So, yeah, he commercialized it, of course, with the rap beef, right? But he's always been like this. So, of course, to see him do this isn't new to his character.
For sure.
It really isn't new to his character. Like, even when he made that one song, you know, about Black women and the hair, and, like, he's tired of the Photoshop and all that stuff. And, like, how he had his concert where he just had all types of diverse, like, women on stage and different body types. Like, he's always been like that type of trailblazer when it comes to things like that. So the fact that you're even mentioning that, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he thinks about everything. And that, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because even so, he performed Not Like Us, obviously, like 5 times. The first time, there was 2 girls came out dancing. 2 girls. So he let women come out first. And I'm saying, like, because at the end, all the boys come out, they come in dancing, but no, it was just 2 girls, and they wasn't out here like promiscuous. It was just dancing, and it was him and the 2 girls. And I even thought that was so important, because it just highlights just little things that he thinks about.
Yeah, like who he is
as a person.
That's it.
And it's like, Drake,
there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. Like, at this point, I'm like, yo, this is embarrassing.
You think this is Drake's retirement? Like,
I don't know if it's his retirement. He's probably gonna lay low for a bit, but I mean, he's not saying anything with me. I'm like, damn, this is really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, you really got everybody calling you the P word.
Yo, the way the crowd, you felt it through the screen, you know that shit felt
right. It was roaring in there.
Roaring.
roaring. I was like, yo, this crowd is insane right now. The amount of celebrities that were there too.
Mm-hmm.
You had LeBron in there. Like, what?
Speaking of celebrities, why the fuck was Northwest there?
Well, I feel like I don't even want to talk about Northwest because, you know, you mention Northwest, people be like, oh, so what? It's a concert. Everybody brings their kids to concerts. So what?
You ain't see no Kim. You ain't see no Kanye. Why is Kim at this concert? I mean, why is Kim?
North.
Why is North at this concert when she's 11 years old? I want to say what I got to say. I know you don't want to talk about it, so I'll be the fucking villain here. I think that poor girl, what did I say about kids in the industry? All I got to say is that poor girl, because she is more than likely headed towards a lot of fucked up shit, because look at who her mother is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Her mother was like, there was this one scene where it was Kim's birthday and Kim was really mad because she actually had to be a mother and spend time with her kids and do what her kids wanted, and all she wanted to do was do Kim stuff. And it just feels like, oh, you know, Kim is not a mom. Like, you know what I mean? She doesn't have that mom nature. So it just pisses me off every time I see Northwest in these adult fucking environments when she shouldn't be. She should be a fucking kid. Like, you know, like, why are you just exposed? I don't know. It pisses me off. The same way it fucking pisses me off when I see Krishan's son in these things. Yeah, I'm gonna mention it because, you know what I'm saying? Like, certain people just, you know, probably shouldn't have
be parents.
Kids. Yeah, exactly.
That's really just what
and
it
ain't
is.
nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to not be a parent.
Right. It's okay. Yeah. Like, it's perfectly fine.
Yo.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
You heard also SZA was undercover at that concert?
No.
Yeah.
After she did a song with Drake?
Yeah.
Why is all his people going out there trying to be like, don't pretend like you ain't see me. Pretend like you ain't see me. I'm not even here. Like, It's crazy to me. Like, y'all fuck with Drake, but that's how you know, even though you fuck with Drake, you know Kendrick shit hit.
Yeah.
It hit.
You know what makes me wonder, though? I wonder what it was that made people, like, there were so many important people there.
Yeah.
I wonder what it was that made them pop out. Is it solely because it's Kendrick performing in a long time and, you know, they thought he was going to announce new music? Like, I don't understand. And I think maybe it just was like an energy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it's because they knew something we didn't know. I don't know why all these important people were there. Maybe his PR team sent out invite. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But even then, there were certain people that didn't pop out, like Snoop Dogg, The Game, people from the West Coast that represent the West Coast. They didn't pop out. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder what it was that where people were like, I'm going to show out.
Right.
I'm going to show up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was interesting. It's very interesting stuff. But I really love what he did. And I feel like it's been a long time. Right. It's been a long time since you see that type of energy.
And that's why people feel like, oh, Kendrick saved hip hop. He saved hip hop because for the longest time, hip hop is just whatever's trending on TikTok.
Yeah.
Now you got real bars. Kendrick has always had real bars from the very beginning, which is why I've always been a Kendrick fan. I mean, J. Cole's cool too, but you know, I've always been a diehard Kendrick fan. So like me, I wasn't surprised by any of this. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just interesting that now people want to hop on a bandwagon and be like, oh my God, Drake, he's corny, he's cringy, he's this, he's that, OMG. But like people been saying this and y'all was just on Drake's dick. And you know, of course, like sheep do, they like to suck a lot of dick. It's okay. But it's annoying because now that something has gone viral and now it's trending, his Not Like Us song, they was talking about he couldn't make a song, a banger that people could dance to, and look what he did. Yo. The whole song from beginning to end is a bop.
You know it's bad when, I'm working and I'm silent and I'm in my head and that song, that part with A minor is in my head, right? And then I say it out loud. I whisper it, right? I'm working and I was like, A minor. Bro. And then my boy's like, yo, that song was in my head too. Right. He got me thinking about this shit 24/7. Kendrick won.
He really did. And he really didn't let up.
No.
Like someone said, I don't think I could ever aspire to be that type of hater. And I was like cracking up. Because not for nothing, he really did not care.
No, I love it.
He really didn't care.
Because he was the type of person that could stand up to Drake.
He started it and he finished it.
Yeah.
And it's literally nothing Drake could say or do.
No.
Like, at this point, it is done.
He should have listened to Lil Wayne when Lil Wayne said not to change.
Right.
Because he used to be humble.
Right.
And he used to be nice. And then he clearly wasn't like...
Let it get to his head, I guess.
Yeah. No, he didn't let it get to his head. He was mad because they didn't respect him.
Ego.
Right. So then he's like, now he wants to flaunt like he got Mob Ties when Mob Ties was fucking written by your fucking ghostwriters, bro. A diss track that people were celebrating because people were like, yo, this is the best diss track ever. Yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, someone wrote it for you.
Right. Right. So, I mean, listen, we've always called it for what it is with Drake. So, ever since he was doing that weird shit with Rihanna, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
This is why Rihanna is not with you. You're a cornball. Unfortunately. I mean, yeah, you got money, but
that don't mean anything.
Exactly, it doesn't. And I feel like, when are they going to learn?
They don't.
They don't, because that's the only thing they have to flex. Like, when are you going to learn?
Exactly. And then they like to say, oh, I don't need love, man. I could be in my private jets
You
and
know he want love.
have all these bitches.
He lonely.
Bro, I hate to keep bringing this man up, but man, you realize that when you see all these lawsuits come out about these fucking rappers who, you know, had these groupies, you start to realize that a lot of these groupies were drugged, okay, and were manipulated into thinking that by being there, they're going to have an opportunity in Hollywood. They're not actually, you know, sitting there willingly like, yeah, I'm just going to be a stupid bitch. There's a lot of these bitches that were promised a lot of false things and were on drugs and were, you know, laced with stuff. Like, you know, it's not really that groupie life that y'all really, like, it's portrayed to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But speaking of rap beef, right?
Right. Speaking of the rap beef and all those diss tracks and street shit.
I think that it's interesting that Remy Ma and Nicki Minaj once upon a time had beef a long time ago. And, you know, I hate to always keep talking about Nicki, but it seems like she be outside.
I'm over it. I'm over it for real.
Yeah, she be outside. But this is just solely us talking, okay? This is just solely us talking, and there is no actual publication that came out to prove this. Maybe it comes out in the future. Maybe it's a lie.
Maybe.
You know, use your own discretion, do your own research. But there is this YouTuber who is kind of not that, like, you know, he's got a few 100,000 subscribers, but on the lower end, I think like 200, 300, something like that. And it's, you know, he's from New York and he be on the streets and he, like, his content is basically reporting street news. And I don't know what he does. I don't know how credible he is, but I thought it was interesting what he talked about. So there was this video I clicked and it was basically him talking about how his phone's going off, right? He's like, listen, you might hear about this in the publications or not in the future, but long story short, Remy Ma's son got arrested. 21-year-old got arrested for a shooting that happened 2 years ago in, I think in Jamaica or whatever, in New York. And it was basically, he killed this guy named D Block. D Block was a pretty important person in the gang world, whatever gangs they are. And turns out D Block is blood cousins with Kenneth Petty, who is Nicki Minaj's husband.
Right.
Which I think is so fucking weird. I'm like, yo, what is Remy Ma's son out here doing?
Yep.
And then they actually ended up having beef a long time ago. Like, that's so fucking wild.
Yeah. It's just a lot of street shit going on. Like, I don't know if it's a turf war. I don't know what's going on.
Well, that's what he was saying. He's like, and now, you know, the streets, because I guess he's plugged in with the streets. He's like, the streets is making it a Jamaica versus Bronx thing. You know, and it's just interesting. Again, I just thought it was something light to touch on to end because these, you know, hip hop beefs and just being in the streets in general, it's just not, you know, it's kind of fucking wild. I don't know. What the fuck is Remy Ma's son doing in the street?
And then on top of that, it's just like, why does this keep going back to Nicki's people? Every time.
She really clearly
She's
runs.
She's really affiliated. She runs deep, clearly. Okay, stunner girl. Like, okay,
I'm like, how did Nicki Minaj get involved?
Again, like, why? I'm so over it. And I just feel like because that's her man, she's going to stick beside him.
100%.
So, of course, I mean, listen, this Remy Ma's son,
Well,
she's going to talk shit.
There was some tweets that she did that night when it was announced that it was her
Mhm.
son.
Mm-hmm.
She said, who up? Right? And people.
Remy.
No.
Nicki.
Nicki.
Oh
And it
my
was like
God.
9 p.m. So people are like, I'm up. Of course, we're all up. People were responding, who
Mhm.
up? But this guy was explaining how who up wasn't for the people.
Yeah.
It was for
wasn't.
like who's up to do, like, take care of this shit.
Yep. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Immediately.
It was literally just caps, who up? No question mark, no nothing. In all caps, who up? That's it. I thought it was interesting.
Mhm.
You know, and I guess, we'll see how this plays out. But
right.
I just thought it was interesting how, Nicki
Yeah,
Minaj.
so when more comes out on that, we'll definitely do like a little deep dive for sure. But we just wanted to lightly touch on that topic. And yeah, this was pretty much a lighthearted episode.
Yes, ma'am. The next episode that y'all gonna see, we gonna bring something special for the table. Should I make it definitive?
What are we bringing to the table?
Are we not gonna be in a change of scenery?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So should I say it?
Sure.
Okay, now we're making it definitive. Woo!
Oh my god.
No pressure, Tiana.
Oh my god.
We will be having an episode very different environment from what you see, but very excited. We'll let you guess where we're going, but we'll leave a little hint. We'll be in one of the islands the baddies went to.
If you guys made it this far, comment below which part of the Caribbean you think we'll be in.
Yes, ma'am.
So yes, we will be filming from there.
And
so.
yeah, that would be it though. I mean, let us know your thoughts on any of the topics we covered. Love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear what you guys got to think, what say. Maybe I was wrong on certain things.
Right. Maybe if you know more about some of the topics that we covered or have more input to, give, comment those below as well.
Yeah. And that would be it. So yeah, anyways, you guys can find me on Instagram. That's JESSI.strange. And where can they find you, Tiana?
On Instagram, you can find me at Randomania1. You can find us on Instagram at the Petty Headquarters. We release episodes every Tuesday at 4 p.m. We're on all of your podcast platforms from Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all the podcast platforms wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube for your visual episodes, Petty Headquarters. So yeah, with that being said, this was your weekly dose of mess. Wow, you're